introduce yourself, just your name, and what you're doing down here right now.
My name is Boha Porto, and I just came to work on some math.
Thank you for letting me introduce or interrupt your math. I appreciate it. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull one card from here, and then you're going to read the question on that card. Right. And then hold your mic right in front of your mouth. There you go.
Share a story about something you have in your life that 5 years ago you could barely imagine possible. Making different choices. 5 years ago, I moved to New York. It's about 5.5. And I never really loved to live in New York. Then I decided that I want to move to Baltimore, so I relocated here. So I definitely didn't want to live there. I ended up liking it, but I also didn't imagine moving back here.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through here and I'm going to pick 3 additional cards, and you're just going to choose one that you want to answer. Okay? Okay, are you ready for my 3 follow-up questions? Okay.
I hope so.
I'm curious, what do you wish people would ask about that experience or that story? Hold on, before you answer. If you could change one detail about the story, what would it be? And I'm curious, how does it connect to your overarching life story? You just have to pick one of those questions to answer.
I'll pick the first one, which was, what do you wish people would ask about this experience? How nervous wreck it was to make a decision. Decisions are not easy to be made, especially that I'm not a good decision maker. I hesitate a lot and I overthink everything pretty much all the time. So when I think about that and people just normally hear your story and they think, oh, you just moved, you decided as if it happened from the night to the day. It actually was not. It was 5 years of thinking that took me to actually make initiative to do it.
Did I cut you off?
No.
Okay. So you want people to think about or know that it wasn't an easy decision. It wasn't just something that happened.
Yes. So because most of the time when you're thinking of making a decision, you have to really balance the pros and the cons. And sometimes your mind tends to always look at the negative side, which it should be nice to make a decision. Some people have the power and just pack and go, but for somebody especially like me that I overthink everything constantly, so it was not easy, but it definitely, when somebody's saying, telling a story from who is outside listening and experience, just imagine it's very, very, very simple to imagine. Oh, it's just like you pick up a table. It was not big effort. Didn't make a lot of effort. But when you're actually in it, picking up the table, you know how much weight you have to carry. So you know if there was heavy or if there was light. So it's nice to hear a story. It's simple as it can get, but the decisions are the I think are the struggle.
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Yes.
What do you think was like the catalyst for you to make the decision to actually move? Like rather than sitting in those thoughts, because you could sit in those thoughts forever, right? Like what actually made you act?
Yes. I was thinking for a very, very long time where I wanted to live. So, like I said before, I did not want to live in New York. All my family lives in New York, and I was like, okay, I'll try to be there. I'll stay there. And then for every single day, every single year I was there, I was thinking, I need a reason to get out of here, or maybe I'll just get used to and stay here. But I used to live here, and I used to work in D.C. and then DMV area, Maryland, and Baltimore, Virginia. So one time I came here for Carnival, and then I met someone, and then she's like, and then she said, "No, you stay there as long as you want." At the same time, I had to be driving from New York here every single weekend, and she's like, "Oh, just take your time." I was like, I guess you don't really like me that much,
Aw.
because if you did, you would ask me to move. She's like, no, I like you, and it's just gonna stay that way. I like me living there and you're here. And then I try it out. So like, let's see how much she likes me. It's like, hey, this is over. I cannot do it. It's over. And then she
Aw,
started crying. I was like, okay, you like it?
that's mean.
I know. It's like, okay, I'll move now that you cried. So that was one reason. And the other one is I remember when I was living here, how nice and fun was to be outside on the weekend. This is like you get when you live in Baltimore, you get both of everything. You can totally go away and find just peace, and it's clean compared to New York. It's a lot of clean. I love New York now. I like it a lot more than I used to, but he's much cleaner, and you can find peace. You go home and all the noise shuts down, shuts off, and you can just find peace in New York. You constantly would step out and surrounded by thousands of people constantly. No matter if it's hot or cold, it's always a lots of people everywhere.
How did it feel when you like finally moved here? Like what in your body reacted, or how did you feel?
For the past 5 years, well, I was here before and I came back, but I felt like I never moved out of here actually. So and also because I was coming here every weekend, so I felt like I never left. I felt like I was always here. Yeah, I did have to go back and feel all the craziness and experience all the rush, daily base of struggle in life when you live in New York. It's like you got three jobs, you gotta do this and you gotta do that. Like early in the morning, 5 in the morning, you're up on the train, it's already overpacked and there's a lot of people everywhere and everybody's not walking but running through you. No matter how old they are, they just speeding through you like fast. So you do actually eventually end up living the life in New York like you really a New Yorker now because you stop solving the stress in the train. You start seeing things the same way everybody else sees it. You start like getting to the same habits and doing the same routine every day. So it's like, okay, this is a cliche. This is a pattern. This is never gonna change. If I don't get out of here, this is not gonna change. So yeah, I'm going back to what I was saying. I never felt like I left here. I felt like I was always here.
So it felt like a version of home.
Yeah.
What's like the one thing that if someone's watching this and listening to your story, what's that one thing that you want them to take away from your experience when they're done watching?
It sounds like you always hear the same when somebody's interviewing anyone else. This feels like it's always the same that you hear at the end. What I'm gonna say, but you only really know when you experience, like I mentioned before. But fear number one is make decisions, like I said. And what I want everyone to take from this is even if you're not going to get up in the morning next day and make a decision right away immediately, is that you do take a leap of faith and just do what you're supposed to do. Just get it and do it. Like you only know what you can get after you tried, right? So yeah, everyone says like you have to have a backup. You have to have a backup plan in case something doesn't work. It's like yes, not always. It's smart to have one, but not always. But my real message is do it. Just do it. You know, you don't know. We live every day. People say you live once. Now you live every day. You only die once. You live here. What? You don't take anything from here. So just follow your instincts and what's more important for you and do it.
Thank you so much.
You're
I really
welcome.
appreciate you doing this with us today.
Thank you.
So my name is Jayla. I am a 19-year-old multimedia journalism major at Morgan State University. So that has been what brought me to this great and charming city. Today I'm in Fells Point, just kind of talking to the people, getting to know some of the locals and getting a feel for the local scene. I am currently working on a project called Be the Good podcast, and we're focusing on artists who are using their work, their platform, and their businesses to give back to the community in an attempt to shift the narrative about what Baltimore really is.
That's incredible, and I'm really looking forward to listening in and hearing what you capture and what stories you capture. We definitely care about stories, and those stories, I think, really can make a difference in how people perceive different areas. So that's incredible that you're doing that.
Thank you.
And I'm excited that you've decided to sit with us and play our game together and chat a little bit about your stories based on the question. Are you into play?
Absolutely.
Okay. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to lay out these cards, and you're going to pick one that just feels like it is calling your name. And then you're going to read the question or the prompt on the card, and then you're going to tell us a story about it.
Will do.
And then I'll tell you the next step.
Okay.
Okay?
Share a story about holding on. Right.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Right. Okay. A story about holding on. Well, okay. So in my time here, I have recently come to Christ, have given my life over to being, a servant of God. And one thing that the scripture talks about is you become a new creature, that your identity is complete in the Lord. And one thing that was kind of hard for me was as the Lord began to shift certain things in my life and ask me for different things and tell me, okay, this is what I need you to step away from. This is what I need you to walk into. Holding on to that old identity was certainly a struggle. It was kind of like, well, I'm stepping into this unknown. I don't know what's going to happen. And I've been comfortable here all this time. And Lord, you're asking me to do what? But in growing and continue to building that relationship with God and understanding that what he has planned for you is going to be so much greater than what we could ever imagine for ourselves, it became a little easier to be able to release some of those things and release some of the ideas and plans that I had to go after his. So, yeah.
Okay. That is beautiful. Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Yes, ma'am.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 3 cards from here, and you're just going to pick one of those 3 to actually answer. These are just additional questions that go a little bit deeper from your original question. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I have my 3 questions. All right, I'm going to read them to you first, and then you
Okay.
tell me which one you want to answer. I'm curious, what happened right before that moment? I'm curious, what gave you the courage? And I'm curious, what surprised you?
These are great. All 3 of these are great. I got to pick one. Okay. I'm going to cheat just a little bit
That's okay.
because these kind of
All right.
work together.
Okay, I'll let it happen. I'll let it happen.
What happened right before this moment? So, as I said, I'm a student at Morgan State, and I was actually planning to go to school in North Carolina. And I was like, it was so much going on. I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm about to end high school, and I got to go to school. And I just remember kind of being like, okay, God, look, we don't talk a lot, but if you up there, help. And if you help, I got you. And he did, and it all worked out. And I ended up at Morgan. It was the best decision that I made. I came to Christ, and I also just remember, like, right before really making that decision, I was like, I'm a tester kind of person. It's like, I'm going to ask questions. I need to figure out, okay, what is this about? What does this entail? And how is this going to, help me? And I remember just being like, okay, I did everything right. I got the grades. I got to college. It made sense, but now nothing still makes sense. So, like, that's when I was like, okay, I've tried everything else. Why not give God a chance? And I'm so, so glad I did. And I think that's kind of just what gave me the courage, was that kind of, why not, spirit? It was like, okay, you've done it. You experiment with everything else. You try everything else. Try this and see what comes of it, because you've done it your way. You've done everything else, and you still lost and confused. So that is kind of what happened right before that moment.
All right. What do you want someone who's listening to your story? What's the number one thing that you want them to walk away and remember about your story?
One thing I want to leave anyone with from my story is all the glory of it belongs to God. If you are questioning, if you are trying to figure out, or maybe you had an experience but you haven't committed, the Lord is here. The Lord wants to lead us. The Lord wants to guide us. He wants to help us be whole. And we cannot do that without Him. So when we get to that point of, okay, what's next? Turn to Him. He already has a plan, and He already has a plan for you to walk out on. So that's what I would want somebody to walk away with, that there is hope, that there is, if you have faith, that things will get better, things will make sense. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this with us today and choosing to sit down and chat with us and pull questions and answer our questions that we have about your story. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being out and open. This was great.